afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. And with me today, I have a very special guest. He goes by the name of Paul DePina. Paul, how you doing,
I'm doing fine, my man. How are you, Mr. Conn Man?
Folks, Paul's family and I go back, over 50 years, you know what I mean? And I remember Paul being a very good athlete. I know he was involved with music back then, and he is an avid Denver Broncos fan. We'll get into that later on. But, I had wanted you to come on my show. I had seen Paul. I asked him if he could come on my show. And because, what I do, even though this is a sports show primarily, the network allows me the platform to do, things that inspire me. And your story is very inspirational. And I wanted you to tell your story because, sometimes we take life for granted. Life is so damn precious. And even myself, sometimes we take it for granted. And, everybody knows I got a big mouth and I talk smack, as you well know. But, I wanted you on the show to tell your story. And because when they hear about it, man, it's probably going to be very touching, emotional, educational, informative, and hopefully inspirational as well. So, Paul, if you could do me a favor, go back. Let's go back. Let's go way back to your beginning, your love of sports, your family, whatever you can recollect from way back in the day, and then we just go on from there.
Well, going back to my childhood, born and raised in New Bedford, of course. Sports
Absolutely.
was a huge part in my life.
Right.
That's my audio's not coming through. Let me take these out. You can hear me, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, growing up, sports was a huge part of my life. Growing up in New Bedford, man, there's a lot of ways you can go. There's a lot of different wrong turns you can make, correct turns you can take. A lot of sports kind of saved my life early on. Shout out to Robbie Mendes and the Boys Club. They absolutely got to give him his flowers. He was a instrumental part in raising me, whether he knows it or not. But yeah, just growing up, and a lot of my basketball progress, a lot of my success and fun on the basketball court happened throughout the outdoor basketball courts in the city. I did play junior varsity basketball with Mike Carrera. But Bonwood Park and West Lawn with the low hoops, bringing the low rim, getting up there and just yoking on people. I mean, Johnny Sylvia throwing the hoops. Me and Aaron Burr and Flea and all these guys, man. And as I got older, then music became the love also.
Mm-hmm.
I was rapping with George Centeo and Jack Arugio, Mr. DJ Dwayne, The Rock, not DJ, The Rock. Back when he was Beatbox Dwayne, he was beatboxing for George and myself.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, and I was actually watching him on your show earlier.
Okay.
And he was very inspirational.
Yes. But
yeah, so as I got older, unfortunately, I made a couple of wrong turns here and there.
Mm-hmm.
My life then went from, all right, let's make a change here. I headed down to Atlanta in my early 20s. Began heating and air conditioning in Atlanta, Georgia, and was down there for almost 20 years. Went to Charlotte, North Carolina for 7 years. So I was able to see other parts of the world, experience another side of life, but it always came back to New Bedford was always like in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened while I was down there, that's when my health took a turn for the worse. Um, they don't know what caused what I had was called interstitial lung disease. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, it's pretty serious, and they didn't have a cause or a cure. They couldn't say if it was from hereditary smoking. I smoked back in the day. They said it wasn't from that, or it could be, or there was no explanation for it. I was probably 49 years old when they diagnosed me. The doctor told me I wouldn't live till I was 52. I had about 2 3
Damn.
years left. He just told me straight like that. He said, "You got two years left," and that like rocked my whole world, for a while. Um, as it progressed, the lung disease got worse, and then I was on oxygen. Um, so an opportunity came. I started thinking about a transplant. They said I was young enough. Um, I was qualified to get it, but in order to get on the list, you had to you had to stop everything, any medications you were on, any kind of pain medicine you was on. If you were smoking, you couldn't have any signs of nicotine in your body. You couldn't have any kind of anything other than aspirin in your system
Mm-hmm.
to stay on this list. Um, so I did that, and at the time I was on a lot of medicine. I had to just quit all the medicine just to get on the list. I stayed on that list for 2 years, and no, I'm sorry, about a year on the list.
Okay.
Um, so in 2000 and right at the beginning of COVID, 2019, end of 19, beginning of 20, before COVID actually was diagnosed, was prognosed, I went to the hospital with what I thought I was gonna die, which they was calling pneumonia. Um, I've had pneumonia in the past, and this particular pneumonia knocked me out like never before. Like I believe it was COVID before it was COVID. I think I was one of the
Wow.
early stages of COVID, and after that, I never recovered. My lungs went totally downhill. I never recovered again. Never came back. I was on oxygen full blast. Um, I couldn't roll over in bed without being winded. Um, it was a miserable existence, man. But so because my health went down so rapidly after the COVID or pneumonia, um, it got me on the list and it shot me up to the top, near the top of the list, because of my age and because of the seriousness that was going. Now 52 wasn't even a possibility. Now I'm looking at, anytime like you better hurry up and do something. So
Mm.
yeah, man, and I've been thinking about this all day. So you got me in my thoughts today, in my memory bank, man. You taking me all over all different emotions today.
That's what I wanted to do. And Paul, when you got this diagnosis and the what they expected to be the outcome, how did you tell your family?
Uh, well, after I mourned and sobbed and cried to myself
Right.
for a while, wondering, like, now it's the point of, okay, I'm on the list, but as far as telling my family, it was kind of, it was very emotional telling my mother.
Oh.
Um, I couldn't even really get the words out right away, man. It's like she knew about the doctor giving me that time frame, but once it declined, it was a very emotional time. It was difficult to tell my family. I basically started with my mother and then to my kids, but I didn't tell anybody the whole time that I was on the list. Nobody knew except personal. Like nobody knew I was even having these type of problems. I was living in Springfield at the time, so it was just personal, close family knew about it. So kind of when I announced it, the city was kind of blown away. They were shocked by it. Um, but yeah, it was difficult to tell everybody.
I'm sure it was. Okay, so now we got that going, and then what happens next?
Okay, so next, one of my many times I'm in and out the hospital at this point. One of the times I'm in Bay Hospital in Springfield. I go in and they check me out. I have to get sent to ICU. I get flown to ICU. They think I'm about to go die any minute. They fly me to ICU to Boston to Brigham and Women's. So I flew from Springfield to there to Boston, and let me give you a real quick story about when I got into Brigham and Women's Hospital. A quick little sports related in a way story. Um, so in the back of the ambulance, in the helicopter, I have with the EMTs, I have my backpack and I have my little things because I've been in the hospital for a while. So I have my coffee and my sugar and my snacks and this and that and the third.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So during the trip, my bag is open and they see whatever the EMTs think they see. So we get to the hospital now. All of a sudden they put me in a room. Now, granted, I'm in all this tubes and machines and hooked up to me. They put me in a room and nobody's around except this cop, this big cop that looks exactly like Big Poppy in a uniform. I promise you, I thought it was Big Poppy. So I'm sitting in there waiting. Then another police officer comes in. They say, "Excuse me, it was brought to our attention by the EMTs that you have a substance in your bag that we're worried about." These guys called the hospital ahead of time and saw my coffee creamer.
Oh man.
And thought I'm walking in there with, I don't know, $10,000 worth of product because there was a lot of coffee creamer. I said, "Looky here, man. I'm coming to ICU. You guys shaking me down." So Brigham and Women's was livid about it. They wanted me to go after the EMT company and things like that. But yeah, that's just a little side note. That's how I entered into the hospital,
Wow.
being suspected as bringing trafficking drugs in there.
That's crazy.
So what happened was, I get to ICU, and they put me in ICU for the simple reason of my condition was borderline need to be in ICU, but could maybe avoid it. But the reason they put me in ICU was to try to catapult me up the list a little faster.
Okay.
So I had to spend 3 days in ICU. Then I ended up finally getting approved. Now I'm on the list. So the funny thing is how they did it was they had an appointment for me to meet with somebody. So a few days later, when I'm up on the floor, I meet with a doctor, and he tells me that my condition is not great. My lungs look terrible, and blah blah blah. So he tells me, I want you to make yourself comfortable. You're not leaving this hospital until we find you a match. So from that point on, I was in the hospital waiting. They told me to make myself at home And I sure did, man. I had a music studio set up in
I
there.
know all about it.
Yeah, the nurses called me DJ DePina up in there. But yeah, so during the waiting process,
Right.
it was stressful, but it was okay because the only mission was for me to eat. They wanted me to eat as much as I could, put on weight because I'm going to be losing it. You know what I mean? Once the procedure happens, they anticipate you losing 30 pounds at least. I lost 70.
Wow.
70, man. Yeah. I tell people now I left my ass in Boston. But,
Damn.
but yeah, I lost 70 pounds in there. Still to this day, I'm trying to get some of it back. Some of it back. Um, but so now time goes by, months are going by. I'm waiting. Different lungs are coming in. So all of a sudden, one day, they come to me and say, "Mr. Zapina, we have a match." Those are the words you're dying to hear, man. For the long.
Of course.
The thing with it though, it's mixed emotions with that also because you're waiting for your match, but you're waiting for something tragic to happen to another family.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's a little conflicting
Of course.
sometimes. Like they would tell you like on the weekends they'd be like, hey, especially a holiday weekend, they'd say stuff like, hey, be ready. It could be this weekend. A lot of DUIs this
Oh,
weekend. A lot of motorcycle crashes, things like that. I'm
damn.
like, wow. It's like you have to hope for stuff like that if you want to get your match.
Mm.
So that part's a little crazy. Um,
Yes.
so they say we have a match
Okay.
now. All these transplants. I had a double lung transplant. All these transplants usually take place over the late night hours. Like you'll go in at 12, 1, 2 in the morning. And my particular surgery was, I believe it's a 15-hour procedure. So what they do is the night of, the doctor comes in, he shaved my chest down, and the nurses they're literally marking on you with magic marker, showing you where they got to cut, showing the surgeon where to cut. So now I'm all marked up, and now I just wait. So they bring me down to the OR for the match. We got the match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the table. The doctors are examining the lungs in another room, I guess. I finally get to the point where, all right, we're going to man up. We're going to get it done. The doctor comes in and says, we examined the lungs. It's a no-go. They're not good enough. Boom, back up to the room I go. Right. So back waiting again. Now, you want to talk about an emotional roller coaster. You go from, I got a match. You're calling everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Ma, we got a match.
Right.
It's on. She's calling her, telling all the family. Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
The next day I'm calling her, or later I'm calling, Ma, we're not doing it. Now,
Mm.
this happened again before I actually had it done. So I had two faulty ones mocked up, ready to go. Down there, it wasn't good enough. But what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want no bad ones. I already got some of those.
Right.
So the third one was a charm, and it was a 15-hour procedure. And that part, the initial part, just getting to it and just getting to that stage was a struggle in itself. Let alone worrying if it's going to be successful or not. Um, but yeah,
Let me take a step back, Paul.
okay.
While this was going on, what was going through your mind?
Which part? When I was down there waiting after
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about a lot of the things, a lot of the last conversations I've had with certain people. Um, how I wish some of them were different, or I didn't get to tell this. If this
Yeah.
doesn't, if I don't make it out of this, there's
Yeah.
so many things that will be left unsettled with me. You know what I mean? Like there's things I wanted to tell people. There's so many more things you want to do, but when you're laying in a room, like there were nights in there where I didn't think I thought I was gonna die that night. Like I died once on the table. They said, uh, they called my mother at 3 a.m. I'm sorry, I keep going off track for you, don't I?
Go ahead, man. Go. Hey, this is about you, my brother.
Um, there was a moment they called my mother at 3 a.m. in the 3 in the morning and told her to get here as soon as possible because he's not gonna make it. He's not. So my mother's uh, when I hear her tell the story, I can only imagine how she's feeling trying to get to Boston at 3 in the morning, thinking that she's not even gonna get there on time. You know, so. Phew, but anyway, man, you getting me emotional over here, Mike.
Um, I, I am as well, my brother. I am as well. Oh.
so, so my mother says that was her longest ride to Boston ever. Boston's never been so far away. But luckily, through the grace of God, I made it through. Um, Speaking on that, without the support that I got from all this city, man, the
That's what I
outpouring.
want to talk about as well. Because, folks, I don't mean to interrupt you. This man right here, because he would go on live from his bed. Am I right?
You're correct.
And the support this man received was absolutely incredible.
Phenomenal.
You know, that's how well, New Bedford, obviously they love the hell out of you, obviously. You know what I mean? So, because you were always a dynamite person and people remember you and, they didn't want anything bad to happen to you because
Man,
you had a
they
lot to live and a lot to give to others. So,
they got me through rehab, man. There was a reason I kept pushing, man. Just to get back here. Just to get back here, man. The rehab was worse than the actual procedure, man. It was rough. I was in the hospital for over a year the whole time.
over a
Over
year.
over a year because the procedure itself, it went well, but complications arose after that. I had all kinds of complications. I had a gastro thing that put me on the feeding tube. Um, so now I'm on a feeding tube. Um, I contracted pneumonia during the rehab. Put me into a coma for 30 days.
What?
Yes, sir. After the procedure, I was in a coma for 30 days after getting pneumonia right afterwards. Um, when I came to from the coma, I couldn't do that. I couldn't move a muscle in my body. So it took, like I said, the rehab was the hardest thing, and it's different for everybody. You know what I mean? Like there was guys
Right.
in there, there was guys in there older than me in their 70s getting their transplant, and they skipping, they moving around, they rehab going quick. They're out of there in a month. I was like, man, what's going on with me? You know?
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was complications, man, after complications. But so yeah, over a year in the hospital, not to mention rehab. But yeah, and everybody, we had a slogan out here. Everybody was breathing with a brother. It was breathe with a brother. That's what everybody was telling me. I got it on the back of my medical bracelet right here. It says breathe with a brother.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, it was like I said, without my family, my mother, and New Bedford as a whole, I wouldn't have came out of this. I wouldn't have came out of it. I wouldn't have had to fight to do it. I wouldn't have wanted to do it probably. The rehab, like I said, was harder than anything about it.
Can you explain the rehab to folks who are, who are watching and want to know what was the rehab like?
Well, the initial rehab for me was I had to just learn to even walk again. I had to even just sit up. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't move. I didn't have motions in my arms right after. I couldn't do anything at all because I was in the coma for so long. I guess all my muscles just failed or something. So that was part of it. After that, it's walking. It's a lot of walking. You gotta walk, walk and walk every day. The faster you walk, the more you walk, they say, the faster you can get out of there. But like I said, I had other complications. But yeah, the rehab, it started out a lot of walking. Then it gets to just trying to get me to eat after a while. Like after being on a feeding tube and going through everything I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat right. Um, I had to have moments of, I think it was a 30-day period, a 40-day period where I could have nothing by mouth, no ice chips, no water, no nothing, man. And just I'm getting off track because my
Go
mind's
ahead,
taking
go
me.
ahead, just go. Go with the flow, my brother. Go with your flow.
Yeah. I just think about times, Mike, that I just said I'm not gonna make it. I'm dying today. Like if the nurse don't get in the room fast enough, if I get up, I would get up and try to go to the bathroom. If something comes out and my tube comes out. If nobody's around, I'm gasping for air. There's nothing worse than not being able to breathe, man. It's the worst thing in life. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff outside in the street, but the fear of not when you can't breathe, there ain't nothing like it. There ain't nothing like it. So every morning now, man, every day, I couldn't walk from I couldn't walk 10 feet a few
Yeah.
years ago. You know what I mean? So now I'm on my bike. The whole time I was in there, I'm like, when I get out of here, I'm riding bikes. I used to say I'm going to get on the court with you guys on Saturday and shoot around one day. I said I'm going to be there with Eric and all them. I'm coming to shoot one day, and I'll be there. I'll be there this year.
You better be. You better
Oh
be.
yeah, I'm there, baby. Yes, sir. But yeah, those are
You
the
know
things
what?
that kept me. Go ahead.
No, yeah, good, good. I'm
No,
listening.
those
Go
are the
ahead.
things that kept me
Those are
going,
the things
man.
that kept you going.
Thinking of all the things that you need your breath to do, which is everything. So I'm in there. I'm like, I'm getting on that court Mondays and Saturday. I'm getting me a bike.
Right,
I'm gonna write me some raps. We're
right.
gonna make us. I'm gonna get in my cousin Mikey's studio, and we're gonna do we're gonna make a song about just breathing again. And I just had a
Mm.
lot of things while I was in there trying to stay busy on YouTube and writing songs and reading things. I know more useless information than anybody on the planet. I looked up everything. I could go on Jeopardy right now. I could go on Jeopardy and win just because you got nothing else to do but just look at stuff and just write. And so yeah, man. After spending that long in the hospital, you just have to find ways to keep your mind occupied so you don't think about what could go wrong all the time. You know?
Now, now, after you done spent a year trying to get your rehab together and all that, and then you get released, where do you go from there? Do you come to New Bedford right then?
Straight to New
Or
Bedford. I knew once I got to the hospital from Springfield that my next move was going to be New Bedford, like because that's where my support was, that's where my family was, and I'm going to need when I got released. I still needed full attention. I was released on. I was on a feeding tube still when I got released. So I went straight to my mother's house. Um, she has a little condo down North End, and she made a room for me, and I stayed there for months. In the beginning, I had visiting nurses. I was on the feeding tube. That's when I started like in-house little physical therapy. I'd walk slow, walk here and there, and I was still on oxygen at the time. They wasn't sure if I was gonna have to stay on oxygen or not. Luckily, I don't. Um, but yeah, the rehab process. I think I stayed with my mother for probably 3 months before was able to get out on my own. 3 to 4 months. And that was another. We had a few scares then. I went back to the hospital a couple of times before then.
I remember.
Yeah, like I got released, and then boom, I had another scare. I was right back in there again, and it's scary because every time the immediate effect afterwards, anytime you feel any little thing, or you get a little bit short of breath, it can kick in a panic attack. Also, like, oh no, I can't breathe right. I can't breathe.
Oh,
But
man.
you're really breathing, like you're breathing, but you felt a little slight pause in your breathing. So your mind takes you back to when you couldn't breathe at all. And me, that would cause me to freaking have some panics, which would make my breathing worse.
Right.
So it was a kind of a chain reaction kind of thing. Um, but man, every day above ground now, brother. That's the way to go. I'm just happy to be here. Now I just want anybody that I reach out to, anybody I see in a while, it's nothing but love and because you don't never know, man. You don't know. One day you're here, one day you're not.
And Paul, what I wanted to ask you as well. Okay, when you first were out on your own, what was it like to come and see New Bedford and all the people that showed you love?
It was overwhelming, man.
It's incredible, folks. It's incredible.
It was
It's incredible.
overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I even got this here. This was from they had a benefit dance from me at the vets. And this is just some of the love right here. Got Ralph Chemick and Pam, R.I.P. Pam. Just a lot of family. And the thing with this was when they did the benefit at the vets, I was supposed to be there. Had a setback in the hospital and I couldn't make it. So that shattered me right there because I planned on going there and seeing everybody that's been supporting me all this time.
Right.
And the doctor, like the day before the event, told me that I wasn't going to be able to go. So yeah, that was another disappointment. Another thing I went through in there, man, is a lot of emotional ups and downs, like a lot of emotional anger and
Of course.
sadness, and you know, lashing out at the doctors or nurses just because you've been in this box for so long.
Right.
Like there was a day they just like the doctor told the nurses skip your lunch, take this man outside, roll him around, take him across the street because he needs to get out because they could see that it was getting to me
Right.
mentally. Like I couldn't,
Mhm.
I had to get out of there. I needed some air. I needed something. So it was more than just a physical battle. A lot of it was in the mind, man. A lot of it was a mind battle. You know, just to will yourself, just to try to will yourself to get over it, and I don't know. It was a lot on the mind.
For someone who has been through what you've been through and all the obstacles and the trials and tribulations and the setbacks, and for you to still have the will and desire to continue, that's unbelievable. I don't know if I could do it. You know what I mean? So that's a big shout out to you, man.
So I
I don't
appreciate
want
it.
I don't want this all to be negative because you're here with us now, and
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. And folks, this guy is off the hook. This guy is musically talented, sports oriented. I'm glad you're still with us, man. You know what I mean? Because I didn't think you were going to be here. I'm gonna keep it real.
A
I didn't
lot of
think
people
you.
didn't, bro.
So, I'm proud of you and the fight and the courage and the strength. And for people who are watching this or maybe, are going through probably not what you've endured, but maybe something along the lines, what advice would you give them?
I would say to anybody going through something similar to have a support system around you of positive people, whether it's two people, one person. Don't leave room for a negative one. You know, because one negative seed when you're going through something like this can deter your whole desire, your whole fight. You know, one person to tell you, "Oh, my uncle went through this and he died." You don't need all that. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
I would say, don't be scared to go for it, man. If you need a transplant and you're in a situation that you're able to get it, I would strongly encourage going for it. I mean, I guess everybody's different, but I'd do it all over again if I had the same choice. I wasn't ready to be out of here at 52 years old or whatever. Um, yeah, I got a lot more to do, man.
You
And
goddamn right. Now, speaking of that, why don't you let the folks know what you're involved with, what you're doing, what your game, your future plans are? Let people know.
right now, Mike, honestly, I'm working on I'm working on a little bit of music, a little bit of music. I'm writing some stuff with some local artists. I'm doing some work with my cousin Marcel, Marcy Savage, Tapina. Uh, I plan on working with my cousin Mikey down there, Abstract. We're working on some things.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, right now, I'm out on my bike, man. I'm enjoying the weather about to change. I'm kind of just enjoying life, honestly. I'm going day by day. Um, I was forced into early retirement, and so I'm kind of doing that, man. I don't set my alarm clock for anything anymore, really much.
Right, right.
you
I
know,
mean, obviously you have appreciation for life, obviously, and I think. Do you think you might write a book about your experiences?
I started a journal while I was in there. I was looking over it today. That's something that I would think about doing. Brigham and Women's Hospital reached out to me, wanting me to join a thing that they have, where you speak to people, where they put your stories together and make a book. Um, I possibly be getting involved with that. Brigham and Women's is working on a educational book for lung patients to be prospective lung patients, and they asked me to be involved with that. So I'm considering doing that. There's an interview out there that I did with some Harvard students.
Wow.
They plan on releasing that. Um, but yeah, I mean, every day right now I just try to do something positive every day. That's where I'm at. If I
Well,
can,
something, Paul. Believe it or not, this show is shown all over the country. So I think you're going to get some feedback, my brother. So people who are tuning in, they want to hit you up. How can they get in touch with you?
they can see me at Paul DePina on Facebook. Obviously, I'm there. Um, I'm on Instagram, OG Paul D on Instagram, and yeah, I can be reached. I can be reached that way through Messenger. That's probably the best way.
I think this
Um,
show is going to be. We're going to get a lot of viewers. I got to feel it. Sometimes I think we're going to get a lot of viewers. What advice, or what would you tell anybody who's watching this and who's feeling the way I do, which is I'm amazed that you're still here. Is there any kind of because like I said, I like my guests to make an impact. In what way or words that you could say that you maybe I didn't, or maybe there's a question I didn't ask, and you're like, damn, how come Mike didn't ask me that? Or I didn't get to say this. Why don't Mike shut up for once in a while? So is there anything that you want to say that maybe I didn't ask that you want to let the viewers know?
I would say, no matter your situation, it can always be worse. And don't sweat the small stuff, man, because it can always be worse. I found that after this going through this, it takes a whole lot now to ruffle my feathers. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
there's nothing you can do to me. There's nothing nobody else can do to me, man. That's gonna that it's any worse.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, oh man.
So
I don't know, man. You must have 9 lives, brother. I don't know, maybe 12. I don't know, man. It's just amazing.
yeah, man.
Before because we only got about a few minutes left. I want to let the viewers know what an avid Denver Broncos fan you are. Since we're on a sports show, let the viewers know about that.
There's a
There
Denver
you
Broncos
go.
tattoo.
There you go.
There's a Broncos tattoo. Man, I am Denver, Colorado, Rocky Mountain High since John Elway, 1983. I followed Elway from Stanford right to Denver.
Hey, tell me, you and Robbie must have some beefs because Robbie's about Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I can imagine you must have some stories you can tell.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that the next time you come on. But
Next time we'll do it. Yeah. Long story short, with that, ever since Patrick Mahomes showed up on the scene, I ain't got nothing to say to him.
Oh, I know it. I'm sure he's throwing it in your face because we know how Robbie is. But go ahead.
Broncos are back though. We're a lot better this year. We got the #1 defense. Quick plug. Bo Nix is going to be the next quarterback. We got our guy. Broncos will be threatening the AFC West this year. Mark it down.
Okay, now, what was you when it actually occurred? Not now. What did you think about them getting rid of Wilson? What was your take at first?
At first, I didn't think he got a fair shot, but at the same time, I knew Sean Payton and him were oil and vinegar, the salt.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Sean Payton never liked him from the beginning.
Nope.
It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. So I was happy as hell when we got Russell Wilson. Because we've been stopping for a quarterback since Peyton Manning left. Now that I think we finally got our guy. I had to go through Tim Tebow, Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch. It's been hell. we finally got our guy, baby.
So what do you think the prospects going to be for the Denver Broncos? What do you think is going to happen with them? They're going to compete or what?
We are going to compete for the AFC West. This year I can see 3 playoff teams coming out of the AFC West.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see both wild cards being San Diego and Denver, or Kansas City and San Diego, or however it plays out. I really think we got a shot. That's not just Broncos talking. That's not the Bronco talking. I really think we got a shot.
Now, have you informed Robert DePina that?
I have informed him. I have let him know, and he says whatever. So we just have to wait and see.
That's going to be interesting. We have a NBA show which we do tonight at 9:00. What is your take on this previous NBA Finals?
The NBA Finals, to me, now for the basketball fan, the basketball fanatic like us,
Right.
great series. For the casual NBA fan, they wasn't feeling it. Yeah, the ratings showed that.
I know. True. True.
Everybody wants to see the stars. You know, when Steph went out and Boston went out and the Lakers went out, so went their kind of their ratings. But for me, I enjoyed that series. I enjoyed the hell out of that series. I hated what happened to Halliburton in Game 7.
What's your take on that? Do you realize that last year there were no Achilles problems? This year there's 7 or 8. What do you think? Why do you think that has happened?
I mean, I want it can't. I want to say it's the length of the season, the minutes that guys are getting now. But at the same time, the season's been this way for the longest time. It's been this long. I don't remember a time where we were getting injuries like this.
No. Now let me ask you a question. If you were Halliburton and you know what KD experienced, the dangers of him playing after, when he, I guess, stretched his calf muscle. I think it was a calf muscle at first.
Right.
And then knowing what happened to him, and then knowing what happened with Tatum, would you still go out there and play?
Well, I'll say this. Game 3, no. Game 7, yes.
Why is that?
With Game 7, everything's on the line. You know, the 2 best words in sports. I can't see someone that's been a competitor their whole life, been playing this game of basketball their whole life, possibly sitting out of Game 7 where they're the key component, one of the key components on the team. I think he would have caught backlash so bad if he would have sat out Game 7.
I agree with you. Game 7, you got to go out there. You got to go out there. You know what I mean? Because you may not have the opportunity again.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee you're going to get there again.
Exactly. So I agree with you. I know, a lot of people, social media, they're criticizing him for playing. But you know what? I know you would have played. I know damn sure I would have played.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But overall, what do you think about the I guess what you would say, the NBA with the second apron, or with like the Lakers being purchased for $10 billion, the Celtics being purchased for $6 billion, and then all of a sudden they got to get rid of that or get below that second apron, and now you notice there's a free for all. Everyone's getting traded here, there, everywhere. It's crazy. It's nuts, and it's not even done yet. We're not even. It's going to be off the hook. But Paul, before I'm going to ask you to do one more thing, and I know a lot of people are watching from New Bedford right now, even though we're shown all over the country. I want you to give a shout out to whomever you want. Do your thing.
Oh man! All right, I'm gonna do my best at this. I don't apologize because I'm gonna miss people.
Because you have so many.
There's so many to name. Yeah, New Bedford is so many to name. But I will give a big shout out to Brigham and Women's Hospital and their team of nurses. Hey, I don't have no more respect for another profession than a nurse right now, because during that COVID stuff and during what they did for me, it's not just always medical stuff, man. It's somebody to rub your back, freaking calm you down sometimes. It's somebody to let you know you're good. You know what I mean? It could be anything. But Brigham and Women's Hospital, man, I'm in forever indebted to them. I love them forever. Family wise, I couldn't have done it without my mom, Brenda Tavares.
Yes.
She was everything. She was my my backbone, my psychiatrist, my nurse,
Right, right.
my doctor, my punching bag, my sounding board. You know, she was a trooper through it all, and I can't thank her enough. My daughter Alexis, today's her birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday,
happy birthday,
baby!
Alexis. Happy birthday. Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Um, she was instrumental in my getting well. She organized and set up the fundraiser, the benefit dance. She was crucial in it. I'm so happy and proud of her. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Shout out to Nathan Victor. Um,
Oh,
one of
yes.
the
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nathan was one of the people that actually came up to the hospital and visited me. Um, and he doesn't know it, but at the day that he came and visited me, that was the perfect day because I needed that at that time. It was a give up kind of moment day. Um, Nathan showed up, man, and boosted my spirits right up. Um, Shout out to people when I got out, when I come out, just helping me out. My mother's husband, Tony Tavares, uh, Ron Gilbert, my man. Ron's been there for
Yeah.
me from when I got out to this day, man. Anything he could do, he's done. Um, my family, New Bedford, Mass, all of you guys. I was getting love from Charlotte, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia. It was
Yeah.
coming from all over the world. It was incredible. There were people with me. There was a guy I'd never met before. Sent me a bunch of Denver Broncos trading cards, man. All kind of nice cards
Wow.
inside these things. People
Wow.
were sending me gifts, and I was overwhelmed in that hospital, man. I was getting mail there. Like I basically was living there. I started to put a change of
Right.
address in. But but yeah, the outpouring of love, man. Like I said, there was days I wanted to give up, but if not for the support of New Bedford, Mass, and other people in my life, I wouldn't even be here to do this show.
Well, uh, from the bottom of my heart, I'm glad you're still with us. You know what I mean? And
Thank you,
you
brother.
better get your behind down the money pot because I'm gonna bust you just like I bust everybody else. But anyway, get back. You know it. You already know. But before we gotta go, I just want to thank you very much because I'm sure it wasn't easy to come on my show and talk about what you have experienced. And I think it's definitely inspirational. You gave us some education. You talked about the rehab. You talk about all the things that you had to gone through, and you're still here, and you're still smiling, and you still look at the world, and you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying life and everything about it. And I can't say enough about how proud I am of you to keep the faith going, keep yourself going, and we here in New Bedford love you, always will. And before we go, is there anything else you want to say? Again, let people want to tune in to you. How to get a hold of you, and let's go from there.
Well, they can just reach out to me via Facebook or Instagram at Paul DePina. I'm easy to find. Uh, and like I said, I want to thank you for having me on. Appreciate the platform. It was good to get my story out a little bit. Thought about it all day today. There's so many things that flashed back into my mind today, man. It was kind of good. It was good for me. So
I'm glad.
I'm glad we did this.
Well, you know what? You have an open invitation anytime you want to go. I was a little nervous. I didn't know if you were going to come out because it's tough to come on a show like this. You know what I mean? But you did the damn thing. I'm proud of you. And you got an open invitation anytime you want to come on. Maybe you and Nathan can come on the next time. Nathan been on my show. So I mean, whatever you want, all you gotta do is hit me up, and I got you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean, brother?
Absolutely.
And again, I want to thank you from my bottom of my heart for coming on my show.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks for having me.
And
Shout out New Bedford,
folks,
Mass.
there you go. again, Paul, I'll talk to you soon anyway. Take care,
All
my
right,
brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace out. Folks,
Peace.
you know, thank you. Folks, you know, when you do a show like this and it's sports oriented, you know, sometimes there's more important things in sports. And this, Paul has been through more than most have been through. And as you can see him, he still enjoys life, appreciates life. And I think that sometimes we got to just let the little things go because we got life. We can make changes. We can, you know, better ourselves. We can, you know, life goes on. And let me tell you something that before I got to go. You know, a lot of times when we go, people tend to forget. You know what I mean? So while you're here, do the best you can, and you know, appreciate life, appreciate others, and I'm sure I'll come back to you many times over. But I want to thank my producer Key Williams for giving me the platform to have Paul DePina and others who come on my show and who have definitely made an impact. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed that the network allows me to do this. And I mean, just think about what he had to go through, man. And we sit here and worry about little things here and there. Think about what he had to go through. Think about not just him. I mean, there's so many others. You know, I'm not just trying to single him out, but man, people enjoy life, man. Don't stop complaining about every damn little thing, man. Enjoy your life, enjoy people, because we only got one life and we got to try to make the best of it. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in to my show. I don't know, I've been doing this for a minute, and I thank the support that you guys have given me. You know, I feel I'm blessed. I enjoy doing, as you guys know, I love doing what I do. And we're going to have some great guests, of course, in the future. And I'm just trying to bring the best of sports, entertainment, and anything else that I can to have you guys tune in and enjoy what we do here at the Sports Wave Network. And tonight at 9 o'clock, we'll be doing our NBA thing with the courtside view. So hopefully you stick around and tune in for that. But anyway, again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to Sports Corner with the Conn Man. And take care. God bless. Good night.